water, and all the other things that this region deserves, we are on course. We are correcting the discrimination on issuance of IDs, and we are making the steps. I am very confident that in due time, we will finally, do what is right in full to the people of Northern Kenya. On the matter you have mentioned about the road, I agree with you that did you at any one time use part of the road that's already built?
I wasn't fortunate enough.
Yes. I would suggest that you do. And I would suggest that you come with me tomorrow to Kutulu.
Am I invited?
Yes. You can count what I have said as an invitation.
Thank you so much.
So that you see part of the road, part of the sections of the road that we are working on. And I am very proud of it. It is phenomenal what's going on. The section from Modogashe, I am briefed by the ministry that the consultant will be appointed this month. The procurement will happen next month. And God willing, by August, latest September, we will come and with a contractor to begin the works. That is both on the two sections, Modogashe to Samatar, and from Ramo to Mandera. And I am very persuaded about it. We had to terminate the contract, the annuity contract that was there. And to avoid legal problems, you have to take it through a process. And I think that's what took a while. Of course, some of the sections, some contractors also brought issues that there wasn't enough security. But I have mobilized the whole of government. There is adequate security to make sure that this road is built, because this road will also be a security road. It will actually change the security of this region, and that is why it is important.
Pengine Faisal.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this roundtable. I'm Faisal Abdurrahman from Citizen TV. I have two questions. The first one is about inclusivity. You have many a times emphasized on inclusivity, Mr. President. How can this be made constant when, in a national discourse, when a regime after regime flip the scale of equality? The second question is about the opposition is accusing you for using this trip as a belt and not a real development. What's your response to them?
Pardon me again, they are saying what?
They are saying you are using this trip to Wajir as a belt and not a real development. What's your response to them?
Thank you very much. My commitment to inclusion goes beyond this trip. It goes beyond Northern Kenya. When I had the opportunity, I reached out, and for your information, immediately after the last election, I reached out to the former Prime Minister because I wanted to build politics that accommodates and that gives us a chance to move together as a nation. I reached out to the former president, and it was my intention also to make sure that we move together. And so when I talk about inclusivity, I am not talking in compartments. Today, we have a broad-based government. It may not have happened or been brought about by the best of circumstances, but I am very proud that today we have a broad-based government. One that creates the opportunity for more people to work together, to bring people together, to create a sense of belonging to different parts of Kenya, different communities, different people from different political persuasion. And it was deliberate for me to form the broad-based government. I was very deliberate about it. There were people who are opposed to the formation of the broad-based government because, many people don't see things from the same point of view. Some people are very unhappy that, those who did not vote for us, people who are undeserving are now part of government. Some are complaining, how can the Minister for Finance come from a certain region, that kind of thing. It is that kind of mentality that we must dismantle. And I did some of these things deliberately, to demonstrate to Kenya that any Kenyan from any part of our republic can serve in any capacity. I remember, for example, when I appointed the late General Ogola as the CDF. Many people came and told me, you see, you're going to be overthrown, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Some, small talk that has completely no basis at all. Build on suspicion, build on prejudice against other people. I remember it was the same years back when, for the first time, President Moi appointed General Mohammed as CDF. Many people said then, how do you appoint somebody from the shifter community to be, Those kind of prejudices are prejudices we must dismantle in Kenya. And that is what drives, those kind of prejudices drives exclusivity. And so it is my firm belief that inclusion is not a favor. Inclusion makes us a stronger nation. It makes us, it creates synergy that then helps us to drive, the country forward. As for those on the other side, they are entitled to their opinion. I don't do things, and I have never done things for convenience or to push a political agenda. What I do is that which I believe in me that is right for Kenya. My friend, it's not always that one becomes president of a country. It's the highest honor anybody can be. And therefore, I don't take it for granted that a person with not so much background like me today is the leader of a great nation like Kenya. So I take it very seriously. I take it very seriously. Many people think I do more than what a president is supposed to do. I show up in too many places. Many people accuse me sometimes of being micromanaging things and those kind of things. Well, that's their thinking. But for me, I take this responsibility very, very seriously. I take the fact that I am the leader of this nation very seriously. And I apply my mind to it. I deploy my energy. I do everything that I can to make sure that I move this country to the next level. And by the way, it's happening. This country is moving. Even my competitors today agree. Even them, they agree that we have moved this country. I saw some of them saying, oh, you know, William Ruto has built a Talanta Stadium. You know, we don't want him, if we defeat him, we don't want him to hand over to us at Kasarani. We should go to Talanta. At least they appreciate that I built Talanta. You know, many of them even say that, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, William Ruto has done everything. He has built this. He has built the stadia. He has done the road to Mau Summit. He's doing the road to northern Kenya. But it doesn't matter. Even if he has done all that, we still want him out. You see, that's their thinking. But what they are admitting is that William Ruto has done something for this country. We have moved this country to the next level. And that, to me, is enough. It's satisfactory for me that Kenya has moved from where it was to where it is today.
Nurdin.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and welcome to Wajir once again. And a set of questions here. Question number one, and question left hanging by my colleague and Situti about the Kenya-Somali border. And Somalia is now a member of East Africa Community. Does that mean Somalia does not benefit from the East Africa Free Trade Agreement? And if it does not, it's going to be a disadvantage to the people in northern Kenya, which share a border with Somalia. So what are your agendas in line with that? Your officers, a KDF Sergeant Abdullah Isa Ibrahim, who's among officers who were kidnapped while serving the country in Somalia. What is the government doing to secure the release of that officer and other officers who are still in the hands of the terrorist group in Somalia? And my final question, Mheshimiwa, I'm very sorry. And we have a ghost high court building here in Wajir, a 900 million worth of a project funded by World Bank. It's lying idle. It has become a white elephant project in town. Apparently, the judge who has been posted to this town is using a small makeshift room at the court building here in Wajir. It's ironical, but the facility is lying idle. What is your government doing to revive such project which could have served the people in northern Kenya? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Even though we have a challenge with the border, that does not deny Somalia the opportunity to trade with the rest of the region. The trade between us and Somalia would be a lot more, but now it's forced to be trade that does not necessarily use our borders. But there is trade that is continuing. We have so much happening by freight. We have so much happening by alternative means, by sea and other avenues that continues to facilitate trade between Somalia and the East African community. So it would, of course, have been a lot different if the borders were not with the challenges that we have. But that is something that we will continue to assess, and hopefully, once we sort out the political challenges in Somalia. I was just briefed today by the Somali ambassador that President Hassan Sheikh will be coming to Kenya for the Ocean Summit early this month. And it will give me and him an opportunity to explore opportunities of what we can do together to see to it that we solve some of the challenges that exist with our borders and with our region. On the High Court facility, we have just approved as cabinet a facility for the judiciary to be be able to expand some of their facilities across Kenya. It is a constitutional requirement that every part of Kenya must have requisite infrastructure for justice to be dispensed. And we have approved as cabinet and as government a facility for us to work with development partners to expand the footprint. I am very confident that one of the facilities that will benefit from this new funding that we have signed into will be Wajir, and hopefully we can now deploy the full scale of a high court here and make that facility operational. You asked me about construction of the border wall. That is a facility that was undertaken by government. It got to a point and priorities became different, and I think there was new thinking that maybe we can better protect this region differently. And we now have a dedicated unit that from the military that is assisting and working in a multi-agency framework to secure that region. As to some of our men, military officers, you know, for example, we have some missionaries from one of our countries that also were captured right here in Kenya and taken across. So we are using all channels available, diplomatic channels, intelligence channels, and all other channels to make sure that we secure the release of these citizens. And we will continue to work with the international community. We will continue to work with the government in Somalia and all other actors, and with the support of friends from across the globe, the United States and others, to help, diplomatically secure the release of these citizens, some of them citizens of other countries that were caught up in these challenges. So we will continue to explore opportunities. There are some that we have secured their release. There are some that we are still pursuing channels for their release. And we will continue to work with everybody to achieve that.
Bwana Rais, tukimalizia labda sasa ndio tunafika tamati mwa mahojiano haya. Wengi wamezungumzia tu swala la Wajir Stadium katika eneo hili la Wajir. Pengine katika siku mbili uliokuwa katika sehemu hii, unaweza tu tujengea taswira labda sehemu zipi ambazo umezuru na labda ni maendeleo gani mengine umeleta katika eneo hili la Wajir?
Asante sana. Unajua, kabla sijafika hapa jana nilikuwa Habaswein. Pale Habaswein tulikubaliana na wananchi wa Habaswein ya kwamba pale mjini kulikuwa na matope nyingi sana. Tukaweka pesa ya serikali karibu shilingi milioni 600 kujenga barabara za mji wa Habaswein, kilomita 7. 5 zimekamilika. Nilipitia huko kuziona jana, na zingine zinaendelea, na nimewahakikishia wananchi wa Habaswein ya kwamba barabara kubwa ambayo itajengwa sasa, hiyo corridor ya Northern, ndio itapitia Habaswein town. Ile barabara ambayo tujafanya pale ni kwa sababu hiyo ni baadhi ya barabara zitajengwa na ile Northern corridor ambayo nimezungumzia hapa kwamba tutaianzisha. Nilipitia pia Habaswein kwa sababu ya mambo ya stima. Pale tumeweka mini grid ambaye ni hybrid, ambaye tumetumia karibu milioni 700. Nimekuja kuifungua itafikisha stima kwa manyumba ya wananchi karibu 8,500. Na hiyo ni awamu kidogo. Wajir South mzima tunatumia 1.1 billion kuunganisha stima kwa wananchi wa Wajir South. Pia tulikubaliana na wao kwamba tutawajengea soko mpya ya milioni 150. Tutawajengea affordable housing, imefanywa kandarasi. Nyumba 400 zitajengwa pale. Na vile vile tumekubaliana ya kwamba hostels ya TVET tayari tumepatiana kandarasi, ndio watoto ama vijana wanaosoma katika technical training college yao waweze kupata makazi. Vile vile nilikubaliana na watu wa Basweni ya kwamba ile airstrip iko katikati ya town, tutakubaliana na wao tuiondoe nje kidogo ndio tuweze kuwajengea tena upya. Baada ya hapo nikaenda Griftu. Griftu ni mahali nilienda wakati mmoja, nimeenda kule mara nyingi, lakini wakati mmoja nilianza kwenda pale nikiwa waziri wa kilimo, na tulianzisha pale college ambayo nimefurahi ya kwamba sasa tumeinua. Miaka 4-5 hivi iliyopita tulitoa pesa ya serikali karibu shilingi milioni 300 to upscale, the livestock training center in Griftu. Na nilienda pale kwa sababu ya kuupgrade hiyo college na vile vile kujenga barabara za pale mjini. Nilienda kuzianzisha kwa sababu tunajenga barabara kilomita 10 kuunganisha ile barabara kubwa ambayo inaenda Moyale na watu wa Griftu, na kujenga town ya Griftu iwaje kuwa ni mahali ya vumbi na matope, ianze kukaa kama town. Saa hizi inakaa kidogo kama kijiji. Lakini that's what I went there to do. And I have many other projects that are going on. Kuna miradi mengine mingi. Kesho nitakuwa Eldas. Kuna barabara naanzisha kule Eldas. Kuna mradi wa maji ambayo ninaanzisha kule Eldas. Na vile vile nitaenda Kutulo kwa maneno ya barabara ya sehemu ile, na pia kufungua mambo ya stima ambayo tumekamilisha katika sehemu hiyo. Na haya tu ni baadhi ya miradi ambayo yanaendelea katika Northern Kenya, na nitarudi hapa tena. Baadaye nitaenda Garissa kesho, kwa sababu pia na kule tuko na shughuli ya miradi ya maendeleo ya sehemu hiyo, na nitarudi tena hapa Northern Kenya kwa miradi mingine, kushughulika na programs ya maendeleo ya sehemu hii. Kwa mfano tumemalizia kujenga airport ya Wajir, na nashukuru county government ya Garissa kwa sababu ya kujenga terminal building ambayo sasa imekamilika. Pia nitarudi hapa, tume expand runway ya Wajir, na kama vile wananchi wa hapa waliniuliza, sasa tuta expand ile terminal building na tuwe na civilian terminal building, ndio ache terminal building ya wanajeshi, tuwe na ingine ya wananchi ama raia. Vile vile nimezungumzia jana pia Mandera. Muliona karibu miezi 2-3 iliyopita kulikuwa na ajali kidogo ya ndege pale, kwa sababu ile airstrip iko katikati ya town, na tulikubaliana na wananchi wa pale na viongozi ya kwamba tutaitoa nje, na tayari panga vile serikali itajenga airport mpya ya watu wa Mandera. Katika harakati ya kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila sehemu ya Kenya inashughulikiwa na miradi na mipango ya maendeleo. Na tunafanya hivyo sio Northern Kenya peke yake. Tunafanya hivyo sehemu zote za taifa letu la Kenya. Specifically tunazungumzia kuhusu Northern Kenya kwa sababu leo tuko hapa, na kwa sababu vile vile tunajaribu kusahihisha ile makosa ilipatikana pale nyuma, kuhakikisha kwamba sehemu zote za Kenya tunashughulikia. Mimi nimefurahi sana leo. Pia nimeenda kufungua hospitali ya level 5 ya Wajir, na nataka niwapongeze viongozi wa hapa, hasa governor wa hapa na members of the county assembly kwa kufanya kazi mzuri ya kujenga hiyo level 5 hospital. Ile nimekubaliana na wao ni kwamba tutawasaidia katika equipping, kuweka vifaa ya kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo hospitali inahudumia watu wa Wajir. Na tayari equipment ambayo tumetoa kama serikali ni karibu milioni 300 ikielekea 500 ya matumizi kwa hospitali za watu wa Wajir. Different X-ray machines, digital X-ray machines, CT scans na yale mengine ambayo yanatumika katika mahospitali zetu. Tumekuwa na changamoto pale nyuma ya vifaa kupatikana, but we developed as a government an innovative equipment deployment mechanism that does not put a strain on either the county or the government or the facilities, but they are done in a manner that is mutually beneficial between the private sector and the public sector. So mimi nimefurahi sana kuwa hapa katika county hii na katika sehemu hii ya Northern Kenya, na mimi nataka niwaeleze wananchi wa Kenya kutoka hapa Mandera, mambo ya afya ni mambo ya muhimu sana. If there is one thing that I am very, very passionate about, is the health of the people of Kenya. And I can see with clarity the opportunity that is there for us to equalize all Kenyans so that we can live by the constitutional imperative of Section 43 of our Constitution, that health is a right of every citizen, irrespective of their social or economic background. And that is why we have deployed as government the largest program in the history of Kenya is universal health coverage. Today we have 31.5 million Kenyans registered. The largest program ever. And I want to say this, that the universal health coverage we are driving in Kenya, the innovation that we have put in, the digitization, the deployment of technology, what we are doing with supply of commodities, what we are doing with deployment of equipment will be the most progressive universal health coverage, not in Kenya, not in our region, in the world. Mark these words. You will come to know what I'm saying is the correct position one day. What we are doing in Kenya, we have worked with many countries. I was in Egypt, Ghana, and different places. What we are doing in Kenya is transformational. It is transformational. And that is why I want to assure this nation that we know what we are doing. You know? We have many partners. I will give you an example. We've had the challenge of COVID before. We now have the issue of Ebola. But I want to assure this nation that the government of Kenya has made adequate arrangements. We have deployed every arsenal that we have to make sure that we protect Kenya, that we deal with the challenge. We have made preparations for isolation units, for surveillance, for treatment. In 23 counties, we have activated different mechanisms, and different hospitals have been already set up to make sure that if there was a case of Ebola in Kenya, we would know what to do with it. As I talk to the country this evening, we are screening every day any visitor who comes to Kenya. All our borders are on high alert. All our borders, land borders, air borders are already activated. There is surveillance, there is screening. On average, we screen close to 3,000 people every day who either come to Kenya or are in transit, to make sure that those who show symptoms, we quarantine them, we isolate them, test them. Fortunately for our country, not a single person tested has tested positive for Ebola. And I want to ask leaders and citizens who have any doubt on the level of preparedness by the government of Kenya, that they should not have any such doubt. Our partnership with our friends, the American government, is a partnership that is mutually beneficial to us and to them. When President Trump asked the government of Kenya to support them by having a center in Laikipia Air Base, I gave the okay because it was an agreement and a partnership with friends who have worked with Kenya for 30, 40 years. The American government has supported us. They have deployed huge resources in Kenya to work with us on HIV/AIDS, to work with us on other diseases. They worked with us on Ebola. In fact, KEMRI was one of the institutions that worked on research on the vaccines for COVID, because we have a solid partnership with America and other partners. So the facility that is at Laikipia Air Base is not a facility different from all the other facilities that we have across Kenya. We have 23 other facilities set up in Kenyatta Hospital, in the police hospital in Nairobi, in Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital in Eldoret, in Kenyatta Hospital in Thika, in Alupe Hospital in Busia, and in many other areas. And these facilities are meant to make sure that there is proper screening, and if there is any positive identification of people who have Ebola, then immediately they are isolated, they are treated so that we avoid any spread of the disease. So I want to ask those who are questioning our preparedness or our preparing to make sure that we deal with a challenge, if ever it gets to our country, what are they telling us? They are telling us we should not prepare. Are they telling us we should not be ready? And the fact that we could end up with a case is not far-fetched. We have security people serving in Congo DRC. We have thousands upon thousands of Kenyans in DRC. If, for whatever reason, they were to become victims of Ebola, we would have a responsibility as a country to treat them. We would have a responsibility to our citizens to make sure that we take care of them. What the American government is doing is to work with us in partnership to build the capacity to make sure that if ever we needed a facility, that facility will be there to serve the people of Kenya and to serve our friends, including the Americans. And let me say this, for the avoidance of any doubt. This is not the first time we are doing such a facility with partners. During COVID, we built a whole facility at the UN headquarters in Nairobi that served people from different parts of the world, members of the UN family, others who were in need. They came, they were served in Nairobi. I am wondering why anybody would want to politicize, to mobilize negative politics on a matter so serious as a pandemic. You know, we are a responsible government. We know what we are doing. So people should relax. You know, politicians should avoid reckless, unnecessary talk that doesn't mean anything. I am very confident about what we are doing as a country. I can assure the people of Kenya that the agreement between the government of Kenya and the American government is for the good of our country and for the partnership that friends like the American government have demonstrated to us over time. They have deployed huge resources. They've given us a grant of close to 200 billion Kenyan shillings to support the building of our health infrastructure. They've done it before. It's not the first time. They're doing it again because that is the nature of international solidarity. That's the nature of friendship and partnership with people whom you share common values, like the way we do with the American people. So I say this just to make sure that anybody who wants to know what it is, this is from me. The same way I am serious and committed about making sure that every citizen, irrespective of their financial or social status, has access to health. It is the same commitment that involves our commitment to dealing with pandemics, including Ebola. So, sorry if I have gone too far into other manenos, but I think it is the security of our country that is at stake, and that is why I must speak candidly about this.
Nitawapa nafasi wanahabari wenzangu ambao wamekaa kwenye panel. Labda nikimpa nafasi Fahad na Saman pia.
Excellency, welcome to Wajir.
Asante.
I am Mohamed Saman, an national fan also from Wajir. Karibu sana. My question is, during the Madaraka Day exhibition week here in Wajir, for the first time ever, a child in Wajir has seen an emerging technology. Like, in fact, a kid from Wagberi Primary saw a robot for the first time. What is your government doing to ensure that remote areas like Wajir are not left behind in the ever-changing technology world? Thank you so much, Excellency.
Thank you, my friend. Very progressive question. Just so that you know, we are rolling out a national program of making sure that we expand our fiber optic connectivity across Kenya so that we can use the digital platform to bring on board technology, you know. And so when I talk to the country about what we are doing on the digital space, it is because I believe that the future of our nation is going to be driven by technology. And that is why I said in my statement today that my pride is that the first grade 10 cohort, 52% are actually students enrolled in STEM subjects. The people who will do exactly what you're saying, they will want to know what a robot is. How do we use a robot? How does technology change the way we deliver things? In the hospital right here, when I went to open the hospital this afternoon, we were being shown a drone that is going to be delivering blood from one facility to another. That's going to delivering critical medicines. If there is, for example, a critical patient in Bute, you know, a drone can deliver the correct medicine within half an hour. If you were to use the road, you would maybe possibly take 3-4 hours, you know. So we are making it easier to save lives, you know, to serve people much more faster, much more efficiently using technology. And that is why we must train, we must provide facilities for students, for pupils, to create pathways for them to be able to do STEM subjects that will give them the possibility to deal with the technology you're talking about. So we are spot on. We are not only doing the right thing with curriculum, and that's why you say it's Saman. That's why I am a great believer in competence-based education. You know, for a very long time, we took kids to school to pass exams. You know, that's not all, because all our students are not gifted the same. Now we have 3 different pathways. So recognizing that our children are gifted differently. There are those who are gifted in arts. There are those who are gifted in STEM subjects. There are those who are gifted in sports, you know, and we must develop all those talents so that we can have a wholesome society. And that is why I was saying today in my statement that it is now clear to us that if 52%, and our intention is to drive it to 60% of our students, we will now be developing students who are not only good at passing exams, they will do critical thinking, they will do problem solving, and then they will be able to leverage on technology to be able to make our country better. Remember, I have said that no society can progress beyond its capacity to think. You know, if it's the knowledge we are building, how do we create new knowledge? It's through education, training, and through research. So I quite agree with you that no part of our country is going to be left behind. That's why we are changing the curriculum. We are making sure that we mainstream that curriculum, and we are deploying technology. You heard me say We are building workshops and laboratories, 1,600 of them, in largely remote areas, part of them in this part of the world, to make sure that we expose our pupils and our children to the right learning tools for them to be able to participate meaningfully in driving the nation into the future.
Labda swali la mwisho kutoka Mandera.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. President. Welcome to Wajir County. There was a question that you have previously asked. Ulisema, when you formed the government, you had reached out to the former president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, and the late former Prime Minister. What did the former president say about that? Did he agree to work with you for the betterment of the nation?
Well, my friend, that's a difficult question because I do not want to offend people. It's not necessary. But that does not stop me from working with, I have many friends from across the nation. And I reach out to as many as I can. And I work with people from across Kenya at different levels. There are those who want to work with me because when I thought of how do we move Kenya to the next level, and when I was developing the thinking of Kenya even beyond William Ruto, you know, as we look at Vision 2030, 2030 is right here with us. How do we stretch out that vision further? And that is why I was saying that we need to fundamentally do three things. Number one, we need to generate energy. We do not have enough energy. Number two, we need to develop more infrastructure, especially transport and logistics infrastructure, roads, toll roads, highways, airports, seaports. You know, that is, we need to put in money there. And then thirdly, we are still a country that is food deficient. We still have too many people in Kenya who don't even have enough food. There are too many. And that is why we have to do irrigation. And it's the reason why I have said that we need another 2.5 million acres to be put under agricultural production for food security and also for our exports. And that is how this region comes into the equation of food security, whether it is livestock or crop agriculture. This region, through irrigation, will actually be the next frontier. And when I was proposing some of these things, I discussed with the former Prime Minister. I explained to him my thoughts, and he agreed with me. I also sat down with the former president, and I told him, this is what I am thinking. And I asked them to work with me to develop, you know, the next 15, 20 years of what Kenya should look like. Yeah. We will continue to, you know, work with everybody who wants to work with us. You know, unfortunately, you know, some people are short-termist. They are looking at the next election. You know, the next election is okay. You know, we can discuss about the next election. But what is important for Kenya, it's not necessarily the next election. It is, how do we see the next generation? How do we see Kenya beyond the leaders who are here today? Because that is how countries that have succeeded have stretched their imagination and their thinking for them to take the country that far. And I just want to give you my assurance, my friend, that I will work with all the leaders who are prepared to think about Kenya beyond their, their communities, the next general election, the next, or their region. I mean, this country is way, way greater than any person, any election, or any region. We are stronger together. We are stronger as one, and not not divided.
Nitampa nafasi ya mwisho labda Fahad, lakini kabla ya hayo Bwana Rais, wenyeji wa Mandera wanaulizia swala la ukosefu wa stima. Umekuwa pale Mandera, kumekuwa na generator imepelekwa pale. Kwa mara moja uliwaahidi kwamba utatoa stima nchi jirani ya Ethiopia. Mpango huu umeishia wapi?
Mpango huo inaendelea. Nimekuwa hapa na gavana wa Mandera, niliongea naye jana. Nimekuwa hapa na senator wa Mandera na viongozi wa Mandera. Mbunge wa Mandera Town alikuwa na mimi leo akiniuliza mambo haya, na nimeshawapatia taarifa mahali tumefikia kama serikali. Tulipeleka kwa sababu kwa sasa inahitajika karibu megawatt 3 ya stima. Tulipeleka transformers mpya kule. Shida kidogo ikatokea kwamba katika ile kutransport zile transformer kuna yenye iliharibika njiani na inarekebishwa, na nishawapatia hakikisho kutoka kwangu ya kwamba wizara ambayo inahusika, wizara ya kawi, inashughulika na haya maneno, na mimi mwenyewe nafuatilia kuhakikisha kwamba tunatatua tatizo hilo. Pia hapa Mandera,
Wajir,
hapa Wajir, pia hapa Wajir tuko na mpango tayari. Tunafanya procurement sasa ya karibu shilingi bilioni 2.5 kuhakikisha kwamba tuna generate kupitia kwa solar megawatt 8 ya watu wa hapa Wajir, na solarization na hybridization, ndio tuhakikisha kwamba tunapunguza ile diesel inatumika hapa, na tunahakikisha kwamba kuna stima ya kutosha.
Fahad.
Thank you. Your Excellency, thank you. My name is Ahmed Hussein. I work with Standard Media Group. I have 2 questions, Your Excellency. The first one is, does it bother you when people say must go? Does it make you feel exhausted trying to do too much, yet people don't look like they appreciate? My second question is, Rigathi Gachagua and the opposition today said it was wrong for you to hold Madaraka Day celebrations here in Wajir, yet people from this region need basic infrastructure like schools, in the water, health sector. They blamed the local leadership in the northeastern region for failing the region, rather than the successive regimes that you paid, you rather apologized for. Thank you.
I think you have helped me answer the question. Because those who are complaining about us holding Madaraka here, they have done absolutely nothing about the situation in this part of the world. It is my administration that is changing northern Kenya, practically, with roads, with electricity, with water, with housing, with markets, with hostels, here in northern Kenya. And it just confirms to you that those people have no vision, they have no plan, they have no agenda. They have nothing to offer except criticism for the sake of criticism. And they will blame everybody except their own ignorance and their own incompetence. When those people had an opportunity to lead, they did nothing about northern Kenya. Absolutely nothing. Some of them have been in leadership for long, right? So I don't think we should bother ourselves with those ones. Those ones are just wasting our time. And must go, must come, must do whatever. That's the beauty of democracy. You can say whatever you want. You can chant whatever you want. One time, Kazungu and all the others. But they don't bother me one bit. Because, bottom line, the people of Kenya will assess every leader on account of their track record, of their vision for the nation, and of their plan for the future of Kenya. Kenyans listen. You know, when I talked to the people of Kenya in the last election, and I told them I was going to do this about the economy, I was going to do this about agriculture, I was going to do this about education, I was going to do this about health, I talked to them about housing. Today, I can face the people of Kenya and tell them, when I told you about the economy, I have sorted out inflation, I have dealt with exchange rates, I have dealt with interest rates, and today we have saved more money than ever. I can face the people of Kenya and tell them, I told you something about agriculture, that I was going to change agriculture. Today, I have transformed agriculture. Fertilizer prices have come down. We have removed cartels in the sugar industry. We have removed cartels in the coffee industry. Today, farmers are earning more money in sugar, earning more money in coffee. You heard the statistics today. Our meat exports has gone up by 80%. Our dairy product has gone up from 4.9 billion to 14 billion shillings. So I have transformed agriculture, and I am ready for the exam on what I committed and what I have done. I made a commitment that I was going to sort out health. Today, from 8 million people in NHIF, we have 31 million people. From the monies that were being disbursed by NHIF, close to maybe 25, 30 billion shillings a year. Today, in 1.5 years, we have disbursed 150 billion. 3 or 4 times that used to be done by NHIF to our health facilities. Yesterday, just yesterday, SHA disbursed 12.7 billion Kenya shillings to all our facilities in Kenya. When I told the people of Kenya we were going to have a housing program that was going to bring dignity, today Kibera is changing. I want to challenge you to go to Kibera. Just go to Wajir here. See what housing is doing to our skyline. See what housing is doing to our markets. See what we are doing in our hostels. So, my housing plan was not talk. It wasn't just promise. Today, I can face the people of Kenya and show them what I have done. I told the people of Kenya I'm going to change education. We had problems in CBC. You know, we had problems in teacher recruitment. We had big problems in funding model. Universities were closing down. Today, that has changed. Today, we have competence-based education. It's working. Today, we have hired 100,000 teachers, the highest in the history of the Republic of Kenya. Today, we have a university funding model that is getting our universities out of insolvency. That is the kind of track record Kenyans will vote for. And every leader should be able to put their track record on to the people of Kenya, you know. So that's how you transform a nation. You don't transform a nation by, must go, one thumb, and all the other sloganeering. That is, in fact, what has stalled this nation. As Korea moved on, as Singapore moved on, as other countries moved on, we were stuck in leadership that does not have a plan. I want to ask you, my good brother, those people, I will challenge them to come and compete with me on my track record, my commitment to the people of Kenya, and the plan I have for this nation. And the people of Kenya are going to judge which leader has a better plan than the other one. Kenyans are not going to judge anybody on account of how much you shout one slogan or the other. They are going to want to know, how is Kenya going to change? How are our children going to go to school? Which opportunities are we creating for our young people? How are we creating wealth? How are we dealing with poverty? And how are we dealing with insecurity and all the other things that challenge our nation? So don't worry about those people. We will deal with them at the right time.
Shukran sana Bwana Rais. Naona kuna maswali mengine, lakini hapa pia kwa upande huu na pelekwa mbio kidogo. Tumeshukuru sana muda wenu watazamaji kwa kutizama mahojiano haya moja kwa moja kutoka eneo hili la Wajir. Na bila shaka Rais alizungumzia mambo mengi, yakiwemo kuzungumzia au kuangalia upya swala la Wagala Malkamare na bila shaka mauaji ya Garissa. Baadhi ya mambo ambayo amezungumzia pia ni mpaka wa Kenya na Somalia, na amesema kwamba tutazidi kuzingatia hali hiyo japo si wakati sahihi. Kwa hivyo nitampa mwenzangu labda Faisal akimalizia.
Ngenipatia kidogo one time. Gender equality. Mr. President, we cannot talk for 1.5 hours without discussing the marginalized groups. And we haven't discussed. So please, the article of the Constitution, the Article 54, gives employment 5% to people with a disability. And as a country, we are at 2%, which is very unfortunate. So as your administration, what punitive measures are you putting in place so that people with a disability are inclusive in all employment, whether government or public institution? The other thing, Nyota Fund has really supported our youth. Do we have empowerment program for people with a disability? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Halima. And just to assure you that the issue of inclusion is not an event. It is a deliberate process. It will not happen in one day. And I agree with you, maybe we need to do more. In fact, as part of driving affirmative action around marginalized groups, I have set up an office right in the presidency to drive the inclusion agenda, especially of marginalized groups. We are seeing how we can extend more bursaries, to the marginalized groups. We can extend more opportunities. And maybe that is something that I will take home as some homework for me to work on it, so that we can accelerate it. We can accelerate it more. And on the last issue about empowerment of the same categories of Kenyans, it is still what I have told you, that it is work in progress, and that's why I have asked the head of public service to personally lead that exercise, so that we can bring on board people who feel they are not part of this equation. Even as we do what we are doing in northern Kenya, we must do it also for all the other marginalized sectors of our society. But allow me, because of time, to to say I'm truly grateful. Thank you very much for taking your time to listen to me. I know there are many listeners out there, people from different parts of Kenya. I want to tell the people of Kenya that Wajir is a great place. It's a wonderful city. And because what I have seen here, as I have done in the past, there are great opportunities for people for investment in Wajir. I want to encourage investors to come and invest in this part of Kenya. We will, as I promised today, we will be working on building a university here that is going to harness the rich history of this county. A county or a town that was set up in 1912 is one of the oldest towns